All right.
All right. We are live. It is SEC After Dark. Welcome. I'm here. Joining me is the host of Locked On Ole Miss, the co-host of SEC After Dark. He is Mr. Ole Miss. It's Stephen Willis. Also joining me is the host of Tide Talk Live and Best of the West, and that's Jake Thomas. And then, of course, we got our main man, Jeb Beecham. What's up, guys?
He's a person.
dude. He's just a
he's
dude.
A person. He's a dude.
He's a human.
App State. He is a human with a beard.
What about them
Looks like a
Mountaineers?
mountaineer. How about them Mountaineers? All right, we are SEC After Dark, and the Sun Belt, I guess, is the honorary SEC as well. It is the SEC's little brother. What's up, Cassidy? She's live in the chat.
John's here too.
John, welcome in, John.
And of course, the
you wanna
voice
be-
of God.
And the voice of God. You can't forget the voice of God.
Hey guys.
Miss Becky Willis, who searches sex podcast on Spotify.
On the daily.
I see where you get it from, Jeb.
Yeah, it's a family thing. We're not doing type in anything.
There you go.
Ugh.
Jeb searched Georgia all whites though, so it's a little concerning. But if you want to get in on the chat, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join in on the chat because you have to be a subscriber to join on the chat. If you just want to watch and enjoy from your social media platforms, by all means, go ahead and do just that. But I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that we are brought to you by betonline.ag. It is, as always, the number one source and the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. You can find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball. Playoff pictures and playoff races are coming down to the wire, so get your bets in on that. NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, golf, MLS, and, of course, college football. So BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. So do this. Head to BetOnline today, or you can use that mobile device to join today to make your first sports bet. Use our promo code Bleav50, that's BLEAV50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Guys, we have an action-packed show this
Before
week.
we get started on that action-packed show, I've got something right here, hot off the press from Bet Online, and I figured a good time to break that out would be right after your read.
Bust it out.
This is the official hot seat list. The next coach to get fired.
It's got to be Jeff Collins, is 2-1.
Brian Harsin is the leader. He's 3-2. Jeff Collins is second at 7-4, which is less than 2-1.
Jeez.
Thanks to Mississippi, I know fractions.
There you go.
Neil Brown is 13-2.
Congratulations.
David Shaw's on this list at 7-1.
Do you think Stanford's really going to fire David? Do they care about football that much? To fire David Shaw?
I don't
really.
know.
They're bad though. They're pretty bad.
Jeff Scott's 9-1. Jay Novrell at Colorado State is 10-1. Ken Niumatalolo 10-1.
Oh.
Chip Kelly is 20-1. Jimbo Fisher 20-1.
Oh, wow.
Carl Durrell
Huge
20-1. Pat
Carl Durrell's
Fitzgerald.
that high?
Yeah.
I thought Carl Durrell would be like 3-2.
Yeah. Pat Fitzgerald's 20-1. Scott Satterfield is 20-1. Steve Sarkisian is 20-1. And Marcus Freeman, after 3 games, is 33-1.
Wow.
Wow.
And these odds are brought to you by BetOnline, as all of our odds on the show is brought to you by BetOnline.
Well, Sarkisian is not going to get fired.
No.
Marcus Freeman's not going to get fired after 3 games.
That's just to take people's money.
Pat Fitzgerald is, unless he touches a kid, he's not getting, or pulls a Hugh Freeze, he's not getting fired. They can't afford to fire Jimbo. I think Geoff is the next on the chopping block. He's about to do something historical at Georgia Tech. The last time Georgia Tech won 1 game in a season, 1994, and who was the 1 game they won?
Georgia.
Western Carolina.
Oh,
No, they didn't beat Georgia that year. That was like, I think that was like Ray Goff's only win against Georgia Tech or something stupid like that. But no, they beat Western Kentucky. Guess who they beat this year?
Western Carolina.
Yeah, Western Carolina, not Western Kentucky. Western Carolina, that's right.
Yeah.
The Catamounts.
Yeah, so they beat the Catamounts. So that might be their only win this year. Georgia Tech is awful.
Yeah,
Awful,
they are.
awful, awful, awful. Now, as we are live here on a Wednesday night, like I said, action-packed show. There's an exciting Sun Belt game tomorrow. Coastal traveling to Georgia State. That'll be a really, really good contest. Georgia State has been on fire lately, and even in some close losses, they've been playing some inspired football. Sean Elliott's doing a great job down there for the Panthers. So that ought to be an exciting game down there at the former Turner Field, which is now whatever Georgia State calls it.
I'm introducing my wife, the associate producer right here, working the chat room, to the Chanticleers. The voice of God to the Chanticleers. She's going to get introduced tomorrow. That's the game I'm looking for, the Coastal Carolina Georgia State game. I don't care about the NFL game. I don't care about West Virginia versus Virginia Tech or whatever that is.
That's like the battle of the coaches on the hot seat.
Yeah.
No, I'm all in on Coastal and Georgia State tomorrow, and it could be a complete blowout on either side. But too bad, Becky, you can't see the teal turf.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
but it's not as offensive as the blue turf. It is.
Oh my
nothing.
gosh.
But nothing
That's-
is as offensive as the red turf in Washington. Good.
Oh,
Eastern
right.
Washington, yeah. No, the teal turf is cool. Do you know Central Arkansas has
The purple
has,
and gray. Yeah.
purple and gray? Yeah,
Yeah. Every 5 yards.
yeah.
It's rough.
And to be honest, Sark could go 5-7 this year. They're going to give him at least another year to see if he can do it with Arch.
And I was just going to say before we lose it, looks like we got a new guy, Michael Specs,
Yes.
coming tonight. So,
Yeah, Michael,
thank you
welcome.
for joining.
Yeah.
Can we
He
trade
wasn't-
Missouri for Oklahoma State? Yes.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
with the temper tantrum that Oklahoma State's throwing with Oklahoma leaving, I don't know if I
Yes.
want them.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, it's bad. Like Mike Gundy's supposed to act like, no, we're not anything. We're not prepared at all, while he's unfolding a speech out of his back pocket that he took to practice with him, and then he read 2.5 minutes of why he didn't care about playing Oklahoma anymore. And it was like, okay, this isn't planned. And basically, Oklahoma State is Jan Brady.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Brady Bunch. Check. Yeah, they are. This is totally hurt feelings that Oklahoma State didn't get the invite to the SEC, and they're going to be left out in the cold. They're going to have to join the other conference, whatever that's going to be.
Remember
And
the
yes,
Aggie
Michael,
tantrum?
it was. Yes, I do. I don't want to play Texas no more.
Yeah.
It's
Texas.
terrible.
They have their own network.
Listen, they act like they can't play these rivalry games, and the whole time, like Georgia, Florida, Kentucky, and South Carolina is like, what are y'all afraid of? We do this every year.
Right.
We play our in-state rivals every year. We got clean old-fashioned hate, whatever you call Florida State. You got the Palmetto Bowl or whatever.
And
And,
I think
Oak
Florida,
and
Florida
Farrell
State,
and
and Louisville and Kentucky are both the Governor's Cup, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think.
no, Georgia Tech is Governor's Cup.
No, I think there's about 17 Governor's Cups in the country.
Yeah.
How many cups were given
I know
away?
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has a Governor's Cup thing, but they don't call it the Governor's Cup game. They call it the clean old-fashioned hate. But
John refers to Oklahoma State as a bunch of know-nothing ninnies. And okay, I like it.
all right, coming out
Like
swinging.
You're just sitting here. If I'm going to drop a Brady Bunch reference, he's going to go 1953 in his.
Yeah.
Yeah, say we're gonna beat those know nothing ninnies.
You'll
And,
never take me alive, Capo. See?
Say.
Say hi.
Yeah, see.
Either way,
Yeah.
though, Oklahoma State, they're whiny people, and
The Oklahoma State
No.
silly nannies.
yeah, It's terrible.
Don't forget,
That's a Family Guy reference.
I remember that.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah. But
That
now
was
he's like
20 years ago.
Yeah, now he's like 53. And he's acting like
I'm a man.
he's 17.
Yeah.
Come after me. I'm a man. I got a mullet.
Yeah, well, act like it.
I watch a news channel that's not on air anymore. Ninny isn't a compliment. I didn't think it was.
No, we didn't think it was.
None of us took it as a compliment.
No.
Don't call me a ninny, John. Don't do it.
Ninny
Why are you
Burton.
yelling at me, John?
Yeah, we probably should get started breaking down games. We went on a little bit of rant to start with.
Wait, we break down games here?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, alrighty then. So let's start with a recap of last week. Georgia's dismantling of South Carolina. So we can start there. Penn State's just absolute dismantling of Auburn. LSU waking up in the second half against Mississippi State, and I think that was it as far as like conference games and Florida nearly collapsing at home against South Florida. Where do y'all want to start? Jeb, pick it. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start off with the easy one. Let's start off with Florida because that was just fun for me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
me too.
Well, kick it off, Jeb.
Outside of being very disappointed because I stayed up late to watch that, and just South Florida just screwing it up at the end because they beat themselves in that one.
Yeah.
Bad snap, making a long kick, and then a bad hold on the kick. It just all around. I was very disappointed. They could have taken that to overtime, but Florida looked terrible again.
Yeah,
I honestly
they need to let them know the forward pass has been invented.
Anthony Richardson is not good.
It's amazing. After the first game, he was a first-round pick, top 10 pick, and now there's no touchdowns after 3 games that he's thrown.
Yeah, and I would have blamed it on Kentucky's defense, but South Florida's horrible, and they look great in that game. So I don't know. That's why it's giving me way too much hope for this coming weekend. Way too much.
Yeah, I can see that. But Anthony Richardson looks. Wow, he struggled. He struggled. It wasn't pretty for him.
I think Jack Miller might finish the season with that job.
I mean,
he's not playing right now because he's hurt. But when he comes back, I mean, right now Anthony Richardson is digging himself a hole, and it's getting to the point where he's not going to be able to dig out of it.
Yeah,
and that's a bad situation. Like the Locked On Gators guy, we were having like a conversation back and forth and everything, and basically he went on a 1-minute rant about how putrid everything is with Florida football. I mean, it was fantastic. It was hilarious. Becky was rolling laughing in the bed because he was going off. And one of the lines was, apparently nobody told Billy Napier that the forward pass has been invented. and he told Billy Napier to figure it out. And it was really good, but it was an ugly, ugly game. Anyway, Michael Specs did ask, is there any pressure on Mike Leach?
Does Mississippi State really do that?
Well, they will. I think there will be pressure on Mike Leach if they lose to Ole Miss again. That's really the only. That's the measuring stick at Mississippi State.
I don't know. I mean, who like John said, who are they going to get better than Mike Leach at this moment?
I mean, there's got to be some sort of.
Oh God!
Reunite the band here.
Yeah.
They could recycle Jeff Collins. Maybe he needs just a chance at, or no, they go and get Scott Frost. Great hire. Scott Frost was like, hey, you know what, guys? I'm going to be here for 4 years, and we're not going to tackle a single day of practice ever. That happened.
Scott Frost at Mississippi State would be about 15 times better than it was at Nebraska, though.
Probably so.
Nebraska was the one place that Scott Frost couldn't go.
Yeah.
He wanted it too much. You remember that old
History
Saturday
says,
Night
yeah.
Live skit where somebody was talking to like Hillary Clinton
Yeah.
in one of the elections? Like, the problem is you didn't want it enough. And she's like, yeah, I didn't want it enough. You know, that's what it was with Scott Frost. He just wanted it too much, like overtly.
So he
Rocky
decided to.
Felk.
They're going to get Todd Monken.
Potentially, there might be a fight between them and Auburn for Hugh Freeze.
Oh, God.
There was a rumor that Hugh Freeze was down in Auburn yesterday. Just a rumor.
Yeah, but this is the thing that everybody needs to know about Hugh Freeze. He starts half of these rumors.
Right.
When you hear news, it's probably coming from Hugh Freeze because he wants that rumor to get legs and turn into something. So he did the same thing over and over again, like in all the jobs in the SEC, and he didn't get one of them. So we'll see. And the Freedom of Information Act is a thing at these places. Like I said, that'd be a horrible hire. It'd be a horrible hire. He's a good football coach, horrible hire.
I mean, will the SEC let him back in? I don't think they will.
Potentially not. I don't know.
I'll say it's
I mean, he's got some other stuff that's going on that we talked about earlier this summer or spring or whenever it broke. But I would have a hard time with Sankey saying, "Yeah, Hugh Freeze, come on back. Our league is better. Our league is the best it's ever been. Yeah, come on back and call some more hookers and whatever it is you do, and go ruin Auburn." Maybe he secretly hates Auburn. Maybe he will let him in.
I talked to my dad yesterday, and he brought up the whole Hugh Freeze to Auburn thing, and I was like, I made a joke about it. Like, is he going to leave the hookers at home? And my dad's like, he better not. Auburn wants him to win. And I started laughing over and over again.
That's true.
I think he is. I think he's saying. I think he's telling schools that you can hire him, but it's one of those like, you know that he really doesn't want you to hire him, and he probably will poo-poo it or find some way to.
Him
make it
climbing in the
difficult.
DMs of a rape survivor that's suing Liberty.
Yeah,
That happened like a month ago. He's not going to Auburn.
right. No.
Liberty University is about on the same plane as Baylor was with Art Briles as far as the systemic
Same.
race stuff or
Same.
rape stuff.
Same AD.
Go
Seriously.
figure.
Yeah, me too.
Go figure. That's right. Go figure. Oh boy.
And another rumor that come out today, and we don't want to get into Big Ten talk, but supposedly Urban Meyer was at Nebraska today.
Oh Jesus.
But
Yeah.
does he have the heart for it?
It's because he's come back on medical leave again.
They might as
He was
well
there
just-
4 years and have
What's the
heart
bar?
trouble.
What's the bar scene like in Lincoln?
Yeah.
His wife dumped him, so he's just got to get some rebound.
I don't know if I
At
go to
Orgeron?
Nebraska, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
Urban Meyer went to Nebraska to smush.
Think about that.
Yeah. God.
That would be a terrible hire.
Oh, it'd be horrible. It'd be horrible.
Yeah.
Urban just needs to stay on TV.
Somebody asked me, what would Nebraska need to do to become a blue blood again? And I was like, move to a different state.
Clone young, find the DNA and clone young Tom Osborne.
It wouldn't matter in the Big Ten because they made so much hay off of that connection to Texas. And then they get out of the Big 12, the Big 8. They just leave Texas behind. And now they just have nobody in Nebraska, and they're trying to recruit into Ohio. And it's not the same dudes.
No, it's not, and they don't have the same name brand as they used to. They used to just flash that in, that red in, and everybody be like, "Ooh, Nebraska! Ooh, I can."
Now they haven't been to a bowl game in 5 years. I mean, picture that. Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game in 5 years.
Have they had a winning season in the last 5 years?
No, because they haven't been to a
I
bowl.
think so. Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah, that's 3 or 4 Scott Frost and 1 Mike Riley, I think.
mm-hmm.
God, like let's just recap. Like, this is pretty sad that we're saying that they made a mistake firing Bo Pelini.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to repeat that. It's pretty sad that we're saying they made a mistake firing Bo Pelini because
they made a mistake leaving the Big 12. They won't admit
That was
it.
the first mistake.
Yeah. They got so mad at the Longhorn Network that they left without any regard and thinking about what was going on, and then eventually the water just ran dry. It was a dry riverbed at that point, and they didn't have the players, and all of a sudden they're basically Minnesota in red.
Pelini got
Minnesota
the
fans
same
are coming after you.
Yeah, Pelini got the same exact treatment as Malzahn did at Auburn. He was winning 8-9 games, and that wasn't good enough for him.
No, because they thought they were 1980s Nebraska.
Yeah.
And he had Texas linemen when he was there. They were recruiting Texas well when Bo Pelini was there.
Yeah, because they were in the Big 12.
Right.
So, yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Firing Bo Pelini and leaving the Big 12.
Biggest mistake ever. That was the end of Nebraska football.
Yep. It was. So let's move off Nebraska because we're not Big Ten after dark here. But and I saw rumors that Coach Prime might be going there. That's not true at all.
No.
I think Coach Prime might go to Georgia Tech. I think he would be an unbelievable fit at Georgia Tech.
I do too, but I just don't think he's going to go to Georgia Tech.
Him in Atlanta. He
might be. He has a better roster at Jackson State.
Yeah,
He's a better situation at Jackson State.
He goes to Georgia Tech, takes that job, hits the transfer portal, and that whole next year the roster's transformed. There's no such thing as a transition year anymore.
Yeah. And he got the number one recruit at Jackson State. He's going to be able to recruit.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry, Corey. I know you're like, no, don't do that.
I can't do that. I have to hate Prime if he goes to Georgia Tech. I just have to.
No, come on.
I think it's either Georgia Tech or Auburn. And I told our Locked On Auburn guy to every show, put Lane Kiffin or Deion Sanders in the title. And it doesn't matter. You're going to get clicks if you do that. It doesn't even matter if they're going to take it or not. There's no consequences for being wrong on that. Put them in the title every day. And that's why Lane Kiffin's in every title, folks. Because it gets clicks.
Yeah.
But he's not going to Auburn.
No.
Prime going to Georgia Tech. That would be a monster home run grand slam hire.
Oh my goodness. Him in Atlanta. The only problem is, well, I guess that could be a good thing because Georgia Tech would get away from Adidas, and they'd have to be an Under Armour school.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good for them. They'd finally up the swag there.
We had a Twitter space like we do on Tuesday night at 8 Eastern every week, and this week Marcel Reed's dad, Rod Reed, came in and spent about 15 minutes giving us a recruiting breakdown of everything that's going on with those guys. Marcel Reed's a dude. Yeah, Marcel Reed's a dude. And that was really cool leading up into Tulsa. We spent about 25 minutes, went over it. So if y'all think about it, join the space next week. You never know who's going to turn up. We've talked to Tracy Ivy, which is Jared Ivy's mom, and now Rod Reed, who is Marcel Reed's dad. So you never know who's going to pop in there.
I might have to pop in there. So, okay. So Penn State dismantling Auburn.
Yeah,
Auburn deleting the final score tweet.
They always do when they lose.
But their reputation of whenever another team, when Auburn wins a basketball game, that'll have like 8,000 replies because they'll just go in and troll it. And then they get a little bit of it back and they delete. It's a horrible look. It's a horrible look.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not good over there. The AD's about to get canned. Brian Harson's about to get 50-yard lined because they're going to have to one-up what they did in Arizona State to old Herm, where they didn't even let him get out of the field to play before they fired him. They met him in the back of the end zone. They didn't let him cross the out-of-bounds mark.
That was crazy.
They fired him right there. You could tell they were firing him right there.
They should have fired him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They're talking about firing on the end zone and how it's a big story. No, they should have fired him 2 years ago. The fact that he was still the coach, that's on them just as much as this.
Yeah. That's still a tough way to go if you're Herm Edwards. I
wonder if Lane called Herm.
Probably. Lane's like, at least I got to the airport before they fired me.
Got out of the stadium.
Pac-12 is ruthless, man.
They left me on the tarmac, but
yeah, something's not right with Auburn, and that something is Brian Harsin.
Yeah.
Steve.
TJ Finley for $100, please.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a stunt driver, but not much of a quarterback. And then when he finally does get in a rhythm, they pull him for Robbie Ashford for a run play.
And then he gets hurt this week, so Robbie Ashford's going to have to go for Missouri, which we save it for picks, but I'm going to say this right now. Wrong team favorite.
But it's
on the Plains. Yeah.
On the Plains. It's on the Plains. That's the only reason they're favored.
Yeah, but we said that last week before Pitt State dropped a 40 spot on them.
Yeah.
I knew Penn State was going to win that game, though.
Penn State is not Missouri.
Right.
Missouri's also really bad. Missouri's also really bad. But no, Penn State is they're better than we thought. I mean, they struggled a little bit to start the season. But they found some answers.
Let's be real. This game's for 14th in the West. Not Vandy. Vandy's clear. They're in the clear. This game is for 14th in the West or 14th in the SEC.
Yeah, exactly. I think that team's going to be Missouri. So not to give away my pick. Jeb goes all Riddler.
Ooh.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Put it on there. Come
on, go. Hurry. Put the Gators on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Jeb.
So, Jeb, how you feel about Alabama coming to Alabama this week?
Jeb's anchoring down.
Yeah.
Literally. So, speaking of anchoring down, Georgia, South Carolina, just Georgia rolling in. Stetson looked like Stetquavius Vic out there. Putting moves on. I just can't get over this.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
I thought he was going to throw a gator up there.
If they lose this week, he might.
No, they have to be over 500 against Vanderbilt for me to not put Vandy on there.
Oh,
ouch. Shots fired.
That kind of makes me like, let's get into this week so we're not here 2 hours tonight.
right.
That's true. Okay, Florida, Tennessee. Now that we're all over, Jeb. Why? So Jake, why does Florida have a chance? How does Florida have a chance? Do they have a chance?
Well, I don't think they got much of a chance, but I mean, if they're going to have a chance, they're going to have to find some kind of offense, and I don't think Richardson's the answer. Honestly, I mean, he's struggled, the last two games, so he's got to get going, and if he can't, then Tennessee might run away with it early.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Tennessee it's just the history. They just have a problem with choking against Florida. I think that would be the biggest thing is that they just choke again because really this is Tennessee's to lose. Now their biggest weakness I think is pass defense. So luckily Florida's strength is not passing. So it works out really well. Like this is the perfect setup for Tennessee to have a big game and actually get this monkey off their back of losing to Florida constantly. But I'm not gonna believe it till I see it, but I'm gonna pray for it.
So Steve, how does Florida's defense stop Hendon Hooker?
They don't.
Who can?
It was going to look a lot like Utah, where Utah was going up and down the field, and the only time they got stopped was when they stopped themselves. Mm-hmm. I do hate that Florida's not good enough to wear those awesome blue helmets they wore the last time in Neyland. Neyland.
Neyland. Yeah, Neyland. We're going to get roasted for that again.
Yeah, but I think Billy Napier he's gonna come out of this game 2-2 on the season. He's well on his way to Birmingham.
Is this going to be his true welcome to the SEC moment? Like, this is going to be his first ass kicking?
Pray to God, yes. And it could
I
be.
mean,
Tennessee
I
could
think
easily
it
win
is. I
this.
mean,
Yeah.
you look at that Kentucky game. I mean, he was totally shell shocked at one point. Like, you look over and he goes for it on like 4th and 2, and he could have punted away, and his defense was actually playing decent. And instead, he goes for it, and then Kentucky kicks the insurance field goal, which put the game out of reach. And you just look over at Billy Napier, and he just has this look on his face of just pure and utter. The color left his face. I mean, he was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like, oh no, what's going on? I haven't seen a defense like this. It's like he's never been in this league before. I mean, he has, but it's like his first time as a head coach. It just, for him, everything's just moving fast because the SEC is that way. Everything's just faster in the SEC. Decisions are quicker. The pressure is a lot more, is a lot heavier. I mean, there's just a lot of factors in this game, and in this league, in this whatever, that he's going to struggle with, and you're going to see they're on the road against an elite offense and a serviceable defense, and a pretty sporty defense, and he's got a quarterback that's just struggling right now, and I don't know if he's ever going to get out of his inconsistencies.
Yeah.
But they got to figure out a way to get Richardson going, and they got to figure out a way what Richardson does well, build on that, and see if they can't get
hand
some
the
matchups
ball off
for
to
Tennessee.
Montreal Jordan or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Montel Jordan.
Yeah.
Montel Jordan.
The
This is how we do it.
the X factor is going to be who Lee Corso picks, because if he picks Tennessee, they're going to struggle.
Yeah, this is true.
And is Paul Feinbaum? Are they doing SEC Nation there as well?
They're
No,
actually
they got
going out
they're out in Texas?
Aggies, yeah, going out
Okay.
Aggies game.
So that means Paul
I hope
Feinbaum is
they
going to
read the-
snuggle up with the collie.
Yeah,
Reveille.
Yeah, Reveille.
Yeah.
That's
Reveille,
her
yeah.
name.
The number one student at Texas. That's such a Texas A&M, just such a weird place.
you mean the Colt?
Such a weird place. The
Yeah.
Colts, man.
Never drink Kool-Aid if they give it to you.
No,
Don't drink any.
hell
anything.
no.
Yeah. If you told me that Jim Jones was undergrad at Texas A&M, I believe you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
I'm doing yell practice. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Oh my gosh.
They do their jokes and their insults. They're like they're not even good burns.
It
They're
reminds
not.
me of Brick from Anchorman. Where
Yeah.
did you get those suits? At the toilet store?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
I had to Google App State to make sure they were a real program.
the mountain men are in the mountains.
Oh, I had to make sure they knew how to get here. Did they use a compass?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show them on Saturday. Let's go.
What kind of damn idiot needs to be told when to yell at a football game? Corey, you having a stroke?
Yeah, potentially. By the
Just
way,
yell practice.
since we're on A&M, I guess we can move over to that game. Did you know Arkansas is last in Division I FBS in pass defense?
Yes.
Is that
Really?
bad?
No.
350 yards a game they're giving up.
Wow.
It's not good. Luckily,
Corey's on the dope.
Corey's on the dope. Yeah.
Well, that's not the 50s. He's moved to the 60s. So we're going to get John. We're going to get him in this decade for sure.
By the end of this thing, he will be.
Win division 2981. Wow, you're from the future?
What's it like in the future? Do they still do yell leaders?
Yeah. Look like milkman.
They
Still?
do, and also navy dress whites, or
Yeah.
navy whites. I know that because I had to wear them for 5 years.
Yeah. Oh God, so weird there. It's just, and I had a cousin that graduated from A&M,
What's your heart?
and well, I mean, I don't really talk to him all that much, but he,
I want to like, But,
I mean, he lives in Jacksonville now. I think he's finally been gone long enough to finally be normal again.
1980. Good. Okay.
Yeah. 1985.
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah.
Bowling
You
Pursuit.
didn't think you'd get a Bowling for Soup reference here, did you, John? So.
But seriously, I do like A&M in that game, since we're off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas is
A&M
going
in
to
this
cram.
game.
Arkansas is going to cram it down their throat, dude. Arkansas's run
Yeah.
game is just going. They're going to do what App State couldn't do and put it across the goal line multiple times.
Yeah, they're gonna have to show me.
Arkansas,
Yeah, they're gonna show me.
run the
wow.
ball.
Their best win of the season. What is it? South Carolina.
Cincinnati.
I mean, they can't help their schedule. Cincinnati probably. They can't help their schedule. Cincinnati beat the brakes off of South Carolina, to be honest with you, but they can't help their schedule. They're about to show. They're about to show you now, dude. KJ Jefferson's one of the best runners in this league.
Yeah, but Texas A&M, if you take every position or other than the quarterback position, they have potentially the best player all over the field. They have 5 stars everywhere. They're stacked. The problem is they don't have it in the quarterback position. And Arkansas's weakness is that pass defense. So Max Johnson might be able to have a pretty good day against that defense. Them losing Jalen Catalon is a bigger deal than any of us are willing to admit. Last year when Catalon went out for a few games, they struggled as well. I mean, he's a good player. He's a game changer. And that defense is not the same when he's out.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think they're going to be I think they'll be turning the jukebox on. I mean, I just think A&M's going to struggle stopping them in the run game, and I think they're going to get opportunities.
No,
off
you're
of
not.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're not. But anyway, no, about this game. If it gets over 20 points, can A&M score 20 to win the game? I don't think they can. They haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
show
don't
me.
know.
Mm-hmm.
I know they look better against Miami. Miami is a good team. And they did enough to win at the quarterback position, and they fed Devin Achane, who is the best player. He's going to be the best player on the field Saturday.
So where does Arkansas rank in rush defense?
They're good.
Better. Yeah, they're better.
Yeah.
But they're going to use him in the pass game. Now, the thing that you have to look at in this game is Jimbo going to get out of his own way?
No.
That's the question.
No.
Is he going to do? Yeah.
He hasn't done it yet.
He's not.
Well, he did
not.
against Alabama
That's-
last year.
Why? One game. That was the
Alabama
Super
beat
Bowl.
themselves.
Why do you think we call them Texas 8-4?
Texas
This year,
4-8.
Texas 4-8.
Why do we call them Texas 4-8? In all seriousness,
Yeah.
what like
Because they constantly underachieve. They're supposed to be 10-2, 11-1, and they constantly underachieve. They do.
that's the trend. They underachieve. Like
Yeah.
what has Texas A&M done to make you think that they can stop Arkansas? What makes you think that what makes you think that they're going to all of a sudden sprout some offense against a team that's played well enough to be ranked in the top 10?
They didn't do it last year
The best win,
against Arkansas.
Arkansas and Texas A&M, the best win out of either team this season is last week Texas A&M versus Miami.
And they didn't do.
But A&M got beat
do
by
on offense.
App.
It's like the worst loss.
Yeah. I'm not taking that
Yeah.
back. Haynes King was an abomination at quarterback. He was
He
terrible.
didn't play defense.
Yeah.
And App State, to finish that game, just crammed it down their throat. They
Right.
said, we're going to run the ball, and they crammed it down their
Yeah,
freaking
but a
throat.
lot of that is because they couldn't get a first down on offense. And by the end of the
But-
game, that Texas A&M defense was gassed.
But
Or
Steve,
you
you
think
also
they're going to all of a
said
sudden get a million first downs this week?
right. You also said last
I
week
think-
that there's a.
I just
a
don't
reason,
see it. I don't
There's
see
a
it.
there's a reason Max
Maybe you
Johnson
do.
wasn't starting. the beginning of the year.
Absolutely. But I watched the game against Miami. He looked serviceable. Nothing great. He's a game manager. He's Greg McElroy. You know, that's the role he's playing there. But if he can do it and do it effectively and keep the chains moving, A&M has a chance to be better than Arkansas.
I just don't think serviceable is going to cut it. I don't think serviceable is going to cut it. And Miami looked god awful. Miami choked.
Yeah.
Miami looked god awful.
Cristobal was not ready for an SEC top 10.
No, he wasn't. But I am.
He was pissing down his leg.
Actually, did I take Arkansas in this game? Let me look. Oh no, I took A&M. Okay, I was like, if I that'd be funny if we was arguing and to pick them. I took Arkansas.
Yeah.
But I am not a believer in Arkansas. There's a lot of people that are excited about what the Hogs are doing, and offensively they're making plays, but they narrowly got past Cincinnati. They beat the brakes off South Carolina, who might be the worst team that they played this far. And yes, I know they played Missouri State last week because Missouri State's a serviceable FCS program.
And plus, Petrino was coaching.
Missouri State has about 20 transfers. They're not as bad as you think they are.
Yeah.
They hit the transfer portal really hard. They got some Power 5 guys.
And for 58 minutes, they dominated that game. That's the crazy thing about that Missouri State-Arkansas game. For 58 minutes, Missouri State dominated that game. And then there was a punt return for a touchdown, a 3-and-out. Oh, no, there was the long play for a touchdown, the 3-and-out, and the punt return for a touchdown. The game was over.
If Sam Pittman's for real, he wins this game.
Yes,
easily.
Absolutely.
And I think
if he's for real, they win this game.
But they need to fix their pass defense because you can't count on the fact that Texas A&M has struggled with Haynes King. Max Johnson's a different animal.
They need to get pressure on Max Johnson.
Yeah,
and they need.
And I don't know if they can.
That helps a lot.
Now, Drew Sanders is balling for Arkansas.
Drew Sanders is balling. He leveled some dude the other day. I mean,
that dude is balling, and them giving up 350 yards in a drop 8 per game. It's sad. Just picture that they're dropping 8. Those windows are supposed to be small, and other teams are throwing for 350 yards.
Maybe the scheme is bad.
That defense. Well, it's not the scheme is bad. I think it's the fact that Jalen Catalon is so important, that defense.
Well, I mean, if you guys can't run it.
And Devin Achane is going to make Drew Sanders and Bumper Poole step hard to the line of scrimmage and open up those RPOs real quick. So if Jimbo wants to use the tight end or the slot receiver, Nia Smith, it should be there. You should be able to make some hay doing that.
But will he? But will he?
What page is that on?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Asking for a friend here. What page is that on?
It's on page 17 of the dessert menu. I mean,
me.
No, he just needs to run the midnight yell over and over again.
Yeah, John, I totally agree. I think he's the best version. I mean, Haynes King's not the guy. Jimbo loves the kid, obviously. He's won the job twice. Max Johnson's the better quarterback, and if he can manage the game and just do the little things, you don't have to have a strong arm. Look at Danny Werfel. He had a noodle for an arm, and like a 7-yard pass had an arc to it. But it was always accurate, it was always on time, and it was where it needed to be.
Max Johnson is probably the better quarterback.
They're going to have to play the cleanest, closest to perfect game that they can, if they're going to beat Arkansas. I just something about Arkansas, the way they play.
They played really hard. I will admit that about Arkansas. They played really hard.
Neither team has given me a reason to say, okay, they're going to kill them. They're going to kill them. But I do think Arkansas wins this game because I do think they have the edge, and the edge is KJ Jefferson. Yeah. He's a difference maker.
Yeah, go to the Bet Online odds. There's the line down below. A&M's a 1.5 point favorite, which means
That's
it's
a-
a neutral site. It means it's basically a
basically-
pick'em, and it's in
Basically
Texas.
pick 'em, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
No.
It's basically a pick 'em and it's in Texas. That tells you.
And
you
it's a
lot.
night game. It's gonna get wild down there.
It's basically home field. It's as much of a neutral site as New Orleans is for LSU and Atlanta is for Georgia.
And before last year, Arkansas had pretty consistently shot themselves in the foot in this game against Texas A&M. I think the whole time it's been in Jerry World, A&M had won like 6 in a row. So
Yeah,
before
Arkansas is
last
bad.
year, yeah. But even when they were decent, when Bleav was there, they still really struggled in this game.
It was there was a weird matchup for them because Bielema was building trying to build a Wisconsin team there at Arkansas, and it just didn't match up well with A&M. That was a lot of those issues. They couldn't stop the speed that A&M had at that time.
But we'll see what happens. But
Way
I'm
different
on this
game.
one, I'm going to take it. Once we do picks, I am going to take A&M in this game.
I'm going to take Arkansas.
Same.
And
think I did.
I will be right.
Wrong.
I'm 29-9. I'm in first place, so you may want to go with me. I don't know.
I'm 28-10. Enjoy that game.
Well, I guess you and me are either gonna be tied or I'm gonna get a 2-game lead on you, Steve. Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
Hold on. This is our new thumbnail. Just me
Yeah,
and you.
Becky and Jeb's going to move into first place after this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Probably.
Becky's sneaking in.
Taking a lot of upsets. It's gonna work eventually.
Becky's going March Madness style. Steve doesn't look tired. Same goes for Jeb. Corey, the only thing that's keeping them together. That's the story of my life this time of year. I mean, I teach
Duct tape
and
and
then I
bubble
coach
gum.
football. It was 100 degrees today at
Yeah,
practice.
I heard that.
It was
Kinda hot.
brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always duct tape and bubble gum, but I'm here. I have energy. I have this energy.
I think
So
it's
I'm
supposed
good.
to break. Isn't it supposed to break tomorrow? The heat?
Tomorrow and Friday is gonna be
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 76 tomorrow.
Okay,
I wish
so
it was
it's supposed to
76 all
rain?
week so we could have had a good week of prep. No, I don't think so. I think it's just
Weird.
a dry cold front, or either that or we're not really getting the rain.
Yeah.
It's like the front's moving through, but I think like the rain is so scattered it's going to miss Nashville.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of rain in it. It's just a cold front coming through.
Yeah. Great. I don't grade papers. I don't give paper assignments. I teach AV production. All my stuff's digital.
Cool.
I'm responding to a comment there. I think it's John, right?
I like Jake. Cool.
Cool, bro.
That's
Cool,
rad,
bro.
Corey.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that meme at the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He turns. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Right.
So Missouri Auburn, the battle of 13th and 14th place. Why? Okay, so Steve, why are you on the Missouri bandwagon? Let's just put it that way. What about Missouri has jumped out at you like, oh, they're overwhelming favorites?
I'm not sure of his name, but I think it's Luther Borden, the true freshman that they signed, the 5-star kid.
Yeah.
Kid's pretty electric. He's worth paying attention. Now, it's going to be up to Brady Cook to get him the ball, but he returns punts. He does things everywhere. He could be that playmaker that kind of just makes Auburn quit. Like there's a 75-yard touchdown early in the game. He could flip it. He is a really good player. Missouri needs a quarterback and they need a running back, but they have the wide receiver that's a game maker.
Is it kind of like a Jahan Dotson situation that Penn State had last year where they're like a mediocre team, but they just flip it up to Jahan Dotson and that gets him out of jams?
He reminds me a little bit of a young Jeremy Macklin.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the player that you want to watch if you're going to watch that game, other than like Tank Bigsby. Those are probably the two. But this true freshman is legit.
Now it's honestly going to be this is going to be the story of whose defense is going to step up more. I mean, Auburn folded like a freaking cheap suit, but early on, dude, they like that first quarter. They were in it. Their defense gave them every chance in the world, And the offense is like, nope, don't want it. Mm-mm.
That first drive for the offense was really, really good, and then just
I
went.
mean,
downhill
that's a
from there.
momentum. They grabbed momentum with that Owen Papo hit. They just couldn't do anything with it. Like
Yep.
they grabbed the momentum. Like they had momentum. They just it's like one of those things where you get something you don't really know what to do with it, and you just like put it aside and forget about it. That's kind of what they did, and then they just let Penn State kind of hang around. That was their chance to bury Penn State, and they didn't do it.
They just don't have the offense to do it. They can't.
No, they don't. They can't
Yeah.
score, but
Yeah.
they have a defense good enough to prevent the other team from scoring, which in a case like Missouri, who yes they have Luther Borden, but they still struggle to score points against legitimate opponents. Like they put a number up on Abilene Christian, but they go against K-State and I think they score
Abilene
3
Christian.
points. And Kansas State just lost some sort of embarrassing game this past weekend.
Roll wave.
Yeah, Tulane. That's right. They just got
Tulane.
stomped by Tulane. So
Well, it was 17 to
like-
14, but yeah, I hear you.
I mean,
For them, though.
the way they play, that's a stomping.
Yeah. Tulane's like
Tulane-
3-0, and with Southern Miss coming to town this week, they have a chance to be 4-0.
The
Like,
mustard
break up the
buzzards.
wave. Yeah, the mustard buzzards in town.
Jeb's the first
yeah.
time he talked in like 20 minutes.
Hey, y'all got it covered, man. I'm just listening. I'm enjoying this.
Oh yeah, you're just a
Dude.
dude on here. That's right.
Jeb,
Yeah.
Jeb, I've been on some rants here. They got me fired up. So, what
know,
like
Steve does with the Arkansas A&M pick. Good lord.
God Almighty, Steve got me fired up on that. Jeb, well, like this Missouri team. I mean, how do they give themselves a chance to win here?
No,
How do they
actually,
do it?
I was being quiet because I don't have much to add to this. Because you're right. I mean, as far as these teams are concerned, Auburn is just if they find some way to move the ball, I think they'll win this game. But I'm not really expecting them to. I
Can
think
they stop
Missouri-
Tank Bixby though? Like that? Like
No,
if I'm
no.
Harsin, I go simple and go, hey, I got Tank Bixby. Stop him because he's been
Right.
criminally underused so far.
I was gonna say, do you think he's gonna do that though? That's the question.
Probably not because he's stupid, but
Yeah.
that's why he's the odds-on favorite to be the next coach fired. But
Yeah.
3-2 odds from Bet Online.
Yeah.
nice
That's my
plug.
problem.
Send
as
us
bad
our
as
check.
Missouri is,
Oh.
At least Missouri tries to play to their strengths. Doesn't work very well.
And
most of the time.
maybe that's the difference. I don't know, but I just think Auburn's at home. They play pretty good. They got a pretty good, talented front seven on defense that can go a long way in a matchup where you got two struggling offenses and you just need some sort of spark. They're going to have to get creative and find wins, kind of like what Iowa does.
And here's another spark. It's their homecoming this week, so
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lecture down there. So
Yellowwood.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
homecoming. But one of the strengths of this Missouri team, they're averaging 202 yards on the ground so far, and they're only giving up roughly around 118 to opposing opponents. So if they can hold Bigsby and Hunter potentially, and what's funny is Robbie Ashford is second in the rushing yards for Auburn. That's not really good to have a quarterback that's second on the team. So,
Yeah.
but he's probably going to be starting. So there you go.
Yeah, and there's also, I think, a true freshman is going to potentially be the backup. What happened to Zach Calzade? Transferred over and just fell off a cliff. I think he's the fourth
Yeah.
string in Auburn.
I think so.
Because,
Yeah.
and he was the starter at A&M. Go
Yeah.
figure.
Yeah.
He was the starter. And
Has a win over Alabama on his resume.
True.
Sorry, Jake.
is that kind of like Alabama? Is that kind of like Alabama losing in basketball to Georgia as our only conference win last year?
Yeah. That's pretty embarrassing.
And
Witness protection program. That's good.
I think Robbie Ashford might be the better quarterback, honestly.
I think the better
If they
quarterback
stick
is that
him in
true
for-
freshman.
I think if they stick him in for more than one play at a time, I think he could get something going. I don't know, like it's this Auburn. Auburn is just a weird program like that where they're like dead and buried, and all of a sudden they go on a winning streak.
Huh. They got it tough in the next couple of weeks.
Except
Neither
for
their
that one
offense-
year with what's his name that's given up points by the bunches in
Chiswick,
yeah,
Oh,
2012.
Chiswick,
North Carolina. I think his defense is averaging 60 points a game.
Appy put 60. Missed two 2-point conversions that had a chance to win that against Carolina.
They gave up like 38 to Georgia State or something like that. They've been giving up ridiculous numbers. And like it's
They
truly
gave up.
defense.
They gave up 27 to Fort A&M.
That's right, they did.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of that Missouri versus Louisiana Tech game in the opener, and granted, Louisiana Tech's an air raid team, and that's going to affect things. But I was sort of impressed by Missouri's defense. They laid an egg in Manhattan, Kansas. That happened. They rebounded a little bit against Abilene Christian, which, I mean, you should. I don't think it was 38-17.
It's Abilene Christian.
Yeah, but if they win, they're 3-1, and they're in the pole position for the Birmingham Bowl. Them, yeah, I mean Florida,
It comes
South
down
Carolina.
comes down to a showdown with Vandy for that spot.
Yeah,
I think Vandy right now can beat South Carolina, honestly.
they
Okay,
should
convince
have
me.
last year.
Convince me. Give me 3 key points. Convince me why Missouri's going to win this game. Convince me, Jake. Why is Missouri going to win this game?
Ask Steve, because I don't think they are.
Run
I'm thinking
defense.
Auburn, actually.
Yeah. Run defense, Luther Borden, and an efficient passing game. They are the more complete of the two teams.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, maybe.
you're talking at the
but-
bottom of the league. More complete.
Yeah,
Honestly-
no, they're more complete than Auburn because Auburn
Well-
completely is one-dimensional, and
Auburn is a complete disaster, so they're the
Yeah.
most complete team in this matchup.
They
Their
are,
def-
but Auburn does have the better talent of the two teams. Hasn't
except
shown
on the
up yet,
lines.
but
Except on the
Right.
lines, and this is always
Except
going
on
to
the
be a line league. The offensive line at Auburn is just a disaster.
it is a disaster. But that front
Yeah.
seven, like Corey said, for Auburn is really good.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
And Owen Popo is a Sunday player, so
yeah.
I don't know.
This
Vandy
ha-
Auburn.
Yeah, this has a 13-10 type game. That's what we're looking at in this game. Like a
It could very well
13 to
be
10.
that. I
What-
mean,
Yeah,
what about a
ni-
32 game?
1987, Vince Dooley versus
Pat Dye.
Pat Dye. Just line up in the I formation, win the game 7-3, and get out of there. That's what we're looking at in this game.
I mean, it very well could be, and I think Auburn's going to be the 7 and Missouri's going to be the 3. Jake,
Mhm.
does Vandy have any shot whatsoever in Tuscaloosa?
Shot of blood.
Nah. I mean, shot at not having significant injuries. That's what they need to play for. No.
Shot at covering.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
I think they do cover. Honestly, I'll talk about that later. But
AJ Swan took the job over from Mike Wright.
Mhm.
Played pretty well
Yeah.
at Northern Illinois.
yeah,
Vandy's 3-1. They're coming away 4-1, baby. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, good luck.
yeah.
John really might start believing the meth theory if I was pounding that table, but I don't know. Like Vandy's much improved, but I mean, of course, it's Alabama. So the goal is to get Jermaine Burton more than 2 catches. Is that the goal?
No, I'll talk about what I feel like needs to happen in this game, and I'll explain why I don't think Vandy's going, why Vandy will cover. I'll talk about that later on our picks.
Okay.
All right. And Tie Talk Live, if you want to hear the complete breakdown with Jake and Stacey, just check that out if you want to get the ins and the outs of the matchups and why AJ Swan is going to struggle against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, and how Mike Wright might be reinserted into this game type situations. Yeah, I don't know. It's just intriguing to talk about. I love razzing you about Vandy and Alabama and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's For me, I think it'll be a win for Vandy if they can A, cover, or B, just come out and make things interesting in the first quarter, first half. I'm not really like a huge believer in moral victories, but I think for a program like Vandy, they need to show for recruiting that they're not the same doormat that they used to be. And I think playing well in Tuscaloosa will go a long way in that. So I think they'll play hard. I think they'll play sound. Unfortunately, it's just going to be an avalanche against Alabama, and so you're going to get a picture that's not necessarily clear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you really look at it, if you really cut through some of the talent discrepancies, you'll see that Vanderbilt will play this game hard. And you'll see that, hey, this culture is changing in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
They've really surprised me this year, actually, under Clark Lee.
Why you apologize? He's ready to anchor. He's ready to anchor down.
He is ready to anchor down.
Oh man, I just can't hate Vanderbilt. I want to. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But no, I think they're playing a lot better this year than I expected them to. I like the way they're playing. I don't know if they're gonna be able to cover against Alabama unless Alabama, for some reason, takes their foot off the gas, which they shouldn't.
Well, we did last week. We was down there at the goal line with like 30 seconds left. We needed it. So.
Yeah, which is surprising, but because usually your coach doesn't do that kind. I mean, he plays his game. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't make bad decisions or anything like that. So. Saban. For some reason, I was completely blanking on his name for a second there. That was weird.
Yeah, that guy.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
Speaking of which, before we get into picks, my favorite thing in the world, and I laugh all the time, is the Aflac commercial with the goat in it. It's like, is that a goat?
Yes.
Deion says,
Yeah.
"You talking about me?" And I was like, oh, every time I laugh at that. Every time. You talking about me?
Yeah.
Talking about me? Prime. Now, just imagine. God, I can't imagine him wearing a Georgia Tech hat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Boy, Steven's got you all screwed up tonight, Corey.
I know. Got me all fired up.
Yeah.
He poked, man. He poked the bear.
He poked the bear.
Poked the bear. So, let's get into our picks. It is our pick
Picks.
segment. As a reminder, we are SEC After Dark. Joining me is the host of Locked On Ole Miss, Stephen Willis, the host of Tide Talk Live, Jake Thomas, and that dude, Jeb Beecham. And I'm Corey Burton, host of Bleav In Georgia Dawgs. I'm also guest spotting on Illegal Motion, and then all of us join forces right here at SEC After Dark. So, this week, we're going to start with the voice of God.
Oh, we're going to start with the voice of God this week?
We're going to start with the voice of God, and then I will roll call it from there. So, our first matchup is Nick Saban's alma mater. I don't know if he's going to make it back for homecoming or not. But
no.
Georgia rolls. They roll into Athens 45-point underdogs. Can they cover that, Becky? Kent State rolls in to Athens as favorites. Yes.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Georgia's not the underdogs, but this is gonna be my week to redeem myself. I'm gonna hop into first place. And to do that, I had to really dig deep, and I looked to the head coaches to help me make these decisions. So Kent State has Sean Lewis. Pretty hot with a baseball cap and a beard. It's a good look. I approve. But without the cap and without the beard, he looks like that dude that's your tax attorney that's going to take the extra minute to make sure you really understand why you're making the decisions that you're making. And I like that. He's going to take care of you. He's also going to take care and cover the spread with Georgia. So I'm taking Kent State.
Nice.
Becky, if you want to get another glimpse of Coach Lewis, he was on Bleav In Badgers back in the summer. So
I will check it out. Does he have a baseball cap and a beard?
Probably. I can't remember what he was wearing. Probably more memorable for you. But yeah, so that's why I said at the top of this thing that Kent State was rolling into Athens as 45-point underdogs. So
also, if you're in the chat, make your picks, please.
Yes, make your picks. We will. We do like that. I'm taking Georgia here to cover. Just for no other reason than I think it'll just be a 55-3 type game where they get Brock Vandagriff in for some significant snaps. I just want to see the offense rolling and a chance to get Carson Beck some meaningful minutes in the first half, and and get Stetson in and out and be done with it. If you want the full breakdown, which is not much, but go to Bleav In Dawgs YouTube channel and subscribe and check out the content we have rolling there on this Kent State matchup. So, Steve.
This is one of those games you just, until Georgia doesn't cover, you don't do anything about it. We need to get Captain Commodore back up.
Jeb is picking Georgia.
Yeah.
Captain Commodore is picking Georgia. Jake, where are you at?
Yeah. I was kind of iffy at first on this because, I mean, a couple weeks ago, you guys played Stanford and only gave up 33 points and only scored 33 points. That
was a Chris Hatcher. He didn't want to embarrass him type thing.
I know.
They
but
easily covered that thing.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a line in that game, honestly, if I remember correctly. But I think Georgia covers and covers easily.
Yeah, this one I don't think he has the same sympathy for. And Sean Lewis gave him some rat poison too. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Becky.
Now,
yeah.
All right, Jeb.
All right.
I just want to point out I was back for a while there. You left that picture up on purpose. I know it. No, I'm taking Georgia to cover this one. Kent State's actually played a couple ranked teams this season already, and nobody's covered this kind of spread on them yet. But nobody's been Georgia yet. And Georgia's just been beating the crap out of people this season. So I feel like they're gonna run this one up too. And so I'm taking Georgia to cover.
They made Spencer Rattler look like the Heisman front runner that he self-described himself.
Yeah.
All right, Becky. Missouri travels to the Plains. Auburn is 7-point favorites. What do you got?
Okay, so Missouri. Elijah Drinkwitz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Total goober. He looks like a goober, but he's a goober that's going to absolutely beat Auburn. And as I learned from y'all tonight, thank you for the hot tip.
Goon.
Missouri has Lizzie Borden on the team, so they're going to cut straight through Auburn. Total confidence.
That's good. That's good.
The voice of God has spoken.
Voice of God has spoken. Missouri. All right, I've been defending Auburn all show long, so I'm just gonna stick with that, man. I'm picking Auburn. It's the home field. It's the defense that I think is going to be the difference in this thing. It's going to be like a 10-3 type situation. But that'd be a or like a 14-3 or 13-3 or some sort of. They're gonna cover it and they're gonna make us sweat for most of the game, but they'll cover this thing. Steve.
All right. I like Missouri, like Lizzie Borden to bust off a punt return or some sort of a big play. That would be the difference in a 10-7, 13-10 type game. Will be that big play. It will be the thing. It might be the death knell in Brian Harson's coffin.
All right, Jeb. Now that you're
Tell me y'all can still hear me. I'm in the league this year. I think Auburn.
Been counting Kentucky and Tennessee. Somebody needs to get a win here, and I really think it's a home field advantage. I think this could be a 20-6, 20-10 type game in the favor of Auburn.
all right. Our next matchup is Mississippi State hosting Bowling Green. Mississippi State, after a second half collapse in Baton Rouge, Vegas has spoken. They are 30-point favorites over Bowling Green. So Bowling Green must be pretty awful. Becky, do you believe it? Are you buying it?
You know, I don't like big spreads. I almost always pick against them. But Scott LaFleur, however you say this dude's name, 100% peaked in high school. You know this dude drinks too much. And like Al Bundy, like annoys his waiters with his glory day stories. He doesn't have it. It's not happening. Definitely going with Mississippi State.
Well, we should all change our picks now. If you're not picking Mississippi State, I am on the bandwagon. I just think they're going to be a pissed off team. I think Mike Leach I think that might be the wake up call that they needed. That collapse and all those missed opportunities in Baton Rouge. They're at home. Bowling Green's not going to be able to handle those cowbells. It's going to be like a 38-0, 42-6 type game. for Mississippi State. So I think Mississippi State gets the cover and the win.
I think it'll end up being someplace like a 42-14, something like that, a 35-7, something that doesn't quite get to 30 points. That's the reason I'm taking Bowling Green to cover this line.
But he peaked in high school. So.
He peaked in absolute high school. He scored 4 touchdowns for Polk High.
He did. He absolutely did. Jeb?
She makes a compelling argument, but I was kind of following the same thought process as Steve here. Just looking at Bowling Green, because I don't know that much about them. I mean, their last couple games, one went into 7 overtimes, looks like, and they took Marshall into overtime last week. I see them as a team that just plays hard, and I feel like they're going to do their best to keep it at least close enough to cover in this game.
All righty. Jake?
Not so fast, my friends.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, I like Mississippi State here.
Bowling Green's going to win outright.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have a second half collapse like they did last week. And that first half, they was giving all LSU trouble, and then just fell apart the second half. So I really think Mississippi State's a really good team. Will Rogers is a great quarterback, so I think he's going to get it done here, and they cover.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Florida travels to UT. Florida is 10.5-point road dogs in Knoxville, Tennessee, running through the T. It's football time in Tennessee. Becky, is Tennessee in this matchup, which has been a nightmare of matchups for this program, can they win and cover this 10.5-point spread?
They absolutely can. So Billy Napier, right? He just shapeshifts between like this attractive dude and the one I don't want standing behind me at the gas station. So the volunteers are going to volunteer to be walking people to their cars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's all Tennessee.
The guy standing behind you. Yeah, no, I'm taking Tennessee because Hendon Hooker is going to have a freaking field day on this defense. They're not going to be able to stop this offense. It's going to be a blitzkrieg. It's going to be fast, and they're going to score 28 points before they even realize it. And every time I think of this Tennessee offense, I think of it's seared in my memory the Kentucky game where Kentucky had 42 minutes of time of possession to Tennessee's 13. I don't know if that math adds up, but the seconds, I guess, make it even. But Tennessee had something like 13 and some change time of possession, and they scored, and they won 42-14. That's how quickly they can score. And that's how quickly I think they're going to score. And Florida's going to blink. It's going to be the second quarter. They're going to be down like 24-3.
Mm.
And it's just going to be ugly.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. Take away the forward pass, and I just don't know if Florida has the horses to be able to even keep up. They can't even do what Kentucky did in a loss last year and ended up losing that game in that one you just described. They can't run the ball that effectively. I think Florida is going to be fine. They're real similar to Brian Kelly. It's just not going to be this year.
Right. And they're going to be good. Don't get me wrong. We're not saying Billy Napier is going to be a failure and he's going to be fired immediately and all that good stuff. I think he's certainly on the right trajectory. Dan Mullen just left that cupboard so bare. Jeb?
Yeah, no, I agree. It looks like Cedric Tillman's going to be fine. Jalen Hyatt's come on this year. It looks great. I think this offense, Jabari Small should be back too, which is nice. This offense is just firing on all cylinders. There is no reason they should not cover this spread. I'm a little worried about that curse hitting us, but I think this year, I think we finally get that. We get past that. I don't know if it's finally because, like you said, Florida's going to be good, but this year we get past it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jake?
I think Tennessee covers and covers easily. I just don't think Florida's got it at quarterback this year, and it's kind of funny because everybody was screaming for AR last year, and looks like Florida was better offensively with Emory Jones than they are with Anthony Richardson right now. So I just think Tennessee scores and scores often.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right. Becky, Tulsa, the Golden Hurricanes, who your husband Steve has so eloquently described in his morning walk what a Golden Hurricane actually is. So if you want to listen to that, listen to Locked On Ole Miss. The content must have been really.
Is it kind of like a
This is
golden
family
shower?
show, sir.
I don't want to know the answer.
Hey, I did not say that, but I thought it had maybe something to do with the Dust Bowl potentially because hurricanes don't get to Oklahoma. Maybe it was
Hurricane.
dusty. Yeah, and whenever they said it was like a press clipping talking about the Tulsa players attacking the other team like, is it a tornado? No, it's like a hurricane. And that's where their nickname came from. And it was like, oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I guess Steve had to
Very.
recover that. I was trying to steer us off the rails here. All right, so anyway,
Good job,
Tulsa
Corey.
comes in as 21. I know, good save, Steve. Tulsa
Thank
is
you.
21-point underdogs in Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Becky, what you got?
No, Tulsa has Philip Montgomery at the helm. Philip Montgomery. This cat's going to be stranded on an island with Gilligan. There ain't no way he can compete with Ole Miss. It's going to be Ole Miss. Hotty toddy, baby.
She has done her research
head
on
coach
these
breakdown.
head
Yeah.
coaches.
Yeah.
I don't know, Philip
Yeah.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
That's one I didn't think she'd know. The next game is going to be the one I'll be impressed with. All right. Ole Miss. Yeah, I think Jackson Dart has easily run this job. I think this Ole Miss offense is starting to find its groove. You're going to keep seeing I think you're going to see more of what they brought to the table in Atlanta last week. With they did a lot of that on the ground, too, which was impressive. So I think Ole Miss is going to I think they have a good chance to double the spread, actually. So I'm taking Ole Miss. Steve?
Yeah, it's one of those things. They could have scored 80 points against Georgia Tech. They quit scoring in the fourth quarter. Lane Kiffin said it was out of empathy of knowing what Jeff Collins was going through. He just didn't want to pour it on him. And they absolutely could. Zach Evans and Quinshon Judkins, those are dudes. Those are absolute dudes. I think there's a chance Tulsa's offense is good enough to where Ole Miss's 8-game streak of giving up less than 21 points is in jeopardy, but Ole Miss is second in the country in scoring defense right now at 4.3 points a game. It's bizarre. Ole Miss hasn't necessarily played anybody, but even before when they hadn't played anybody, they didn't put up numbers like this. So I do think they're going to cover fairly easily. And if it looks like it did against Georgia Tech, if Ole Miss plays like they did against Georgia Tech, nobody's beating Ole Miss this year.
Right. Jeb?
Yeah, I can argue with that. I'd already taken Ole Miss to cover before even hearing some of that. Tulsa to me seems like a pretty good team for their division, but Ole Miss is just playing so well right now. I don't see how Tulsa's going to keep it close.
Jake?
Yeah, I got Ole Miss, and their defense is much improved. Going off of what Steven said, they haven't played nobody, but they're putting up video game numbers right now, and on the defensive side and offensively, they're getting rolling as well. So I got Ole Miss, and I got them easy.
All righty. Our next matchup, Vanderbilt put a damper on Northern Illinois' bid to win the SEC. So that's a little bummer for the Huskies there from Decatur, Illinois. But Northern comes in to Lexington. They are the Kentucky Wildcats are favored by 26.5. They had that big, I guess you could call it an upset over Florida earlier in the season. Becky, what you got?
Guys, Thomas Hammock. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
He's so stinking cute. I want to be held by him. I want to hug him. I love him. He is going to keep Northern Illinois safe. He's not going to allow them to be beat by 26.5 points. That's not happening. They're not going to win, but he's going to protect their dignity, and they're going to cover.
All right.
You're on a short leash,
Now I'm
Steve.
impressed.
Yeah, seriously. I thought it was just Ed Reed, but apparently it's everybody.
Yeah.
Thomas Hammock gives the best hugs. You just know he does.
Is it the
Apparently it's
name?
every head coach in the MAC.
Look him up. He's wonderful.
Who knew that Becky was a Maction person? I thought she
Right.
was. I had her pegged for
Loves Max
fun.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
She loves the Maction. First with Sean Lewis, now with this guy. No, I think Kentucky's gonna beat the brakes off of them. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a 4-touchdown affair. I think it's barely a cover because I don't know if Kentucky's that explosive, but you're gonna wonder. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna be sitting there in the fourth quarter going, why did I pick Kentucky? And they're gonna score a touchdown and go, okay, that's why. I think their defense is gonna get one. I think they're gonna get one on special teams with Barry and Brown, the pride of the Pearl Cone Firebirds, and I think the Wildcats will win and get the cover. Steve.
Same thing. Wildcats win cover. Northern Illinois got beat by 10 at home by Vanderbilt last week. And I think Kentucky is better than Vanderbilt.
So did Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
So did Hawaii. Jeb?
And this one I ended up taking Northern Illinois to cover. I think I'm giving them props for playing 2 SEC teams in a row. That's just impressive. Not many smaller teams in these conferences would do that. I feel like Kentucky's going to end up playing a little bit down to their competition. They're going to win. They're going to win pretty easily, but I don't think they're going to just run the numbers up on them. And so I think that spread is just a little too big for me.
Jake?
Nah, I think Kentucky covers. I think it's going to be like a 34, 35-point game at the end of it.
All righty. Well, the next matchup was a fairly heated debate on earlier in the show. I think we know where most of us stand here. But,
we kind of let that one out, didn't we?
Yeah, I kind of let that cat out of that bag there. But A&M hosts Arkansas in Arlington and Jerry World. They are 1.5-point favorites on a neutral site. So, Becky, we haven't heard from you yet on this matchup.
No, this is not a fun one. I'm just going to say stupid Jimbo Fisher and his stupid name are going to manage to outsmart Arkansas, which I guess is a major accomplishment. So, yay, A&M.
Yay. Okay, so I think Sam Pittman's bringing liquor to the party. You remember that press conference where he said, yeah, we don't know what they're going to bring to the party. Some people bring sweet tea, some people bring liquor. I think they're going to bring the liquor and they're going to have some fun. I for the reasons I said earlier, I think KJ Jefferson is a difference maker. I think this defense gets some things figured out, and I think they do just enough to stop them, and that's all they have to do is just enough to get that. They can win by 1 point, and they cover, and they win. And here we are. I think Arkansas is the better team, though. Give me the Razorbacks. Woo pig suey.
I think Arkansas is going to bring a salad tray to the party, complete with carrot sticks and maybe a side of ranch dressing, because they're definitely not going to be the filling team in this matchup, because I'm going to sit with some Texas barbecue. If you want something to have in a situation where the party and it tastes really good, and it's exactly what you want is filling. Max Johnson is able to get it done against a putrid pass defense. Texas A&M's defense does just enough against KJ Jefferson, although DJ Durkin's the defensive coordinator, and he gave up 51 points last year to Arkansas, but we won't even think about that for a second. I'm going to say Texas A&M.
What you didn't realize, Steve, is that they're actually bringing Judge Beam's Texas barbecue. So,
Judge Beams.
Judge Beams. All right, Jeb.
I think they bring Sam's Cola. Get it? Because Walmart's in Arkansas. It doesn't matter. No,
and it's Sam Pittman.
Mm-hmm.
Get the double
That's
whammy
right.
there. That's a good one,
Sam's
Jeb.
That's perfect. Yeah. That's no. I honestly, I still think Arkansas is the better team in this. I know A&M has a lot of talent, but like I said, they're missing a quarterback, which is probably the most important position. And I'm just not a believer right now in what they're doing this year at all. They haven't done anything even against Miami last week. I know that was a good game, but they still haven't done enough to convince me that they're gonna coach a good game yet. So I'm going with Arkansas, who I like.
Jake.
Becky, I know you and Steve share a house together, but you can think on your own. You ain't got to pick everything he does. But you're your own, But anyway, yeah. I
better
think
be careful.
Arkansas,
He's going to put Cassidy on you.
Yeah, no, I do think Arkansas is the better team. I don't care if it is it's pretty much going to be a home game for Texas. But the thing about it is, KJ Jefferson is probably a top 5, maybe a top 10 quarterback nationally. Max Johnson probably isn't a top 100 quarterback nationally, and it's going to come down to the quarterback play. and KJ Jefferson is going to go off. And I think, I just don't think A&M can score 20, and they're going to have to score 20 in this game, I feel like. So
after hearing y'all talk, I'm actually looking forward to this game now. Before we got in here and had this debate, I could care less about this football game. But now I want to watch it.
Yeah.
No, here's the reason why, because now the way John has described it, he said Sam Pittman is going to cram a carrot stick up Jimbo's butt.
That's good. Yo, man, that's so good. That's
Let's
so
go.
good. Yeah.
Is it before he trims it? That's an important
LFG.
detail. That's an important detail. All right. So Becky, Charlotte, coached by I'm going to let you reveal that. They roll into Columbia. They're going to listen to Sandstorm, and Vegas said that the threat of Sandstorm, and it may still be hot, and they're just coming off a huge loss. They still think that South Carolina's 22.5-point favorites over the Charlotte 49ers. Becky, what you got?
Okay, well, Charlotte, coached by, we can all agree, Tom Cruise's less attractive nephew, Will Healy, looks pretty good with a hat and a headset, right? Like, so okay, I'm on your team, Mr. Healy. But when he gets into coach mode and he stares people down, I feel like you just impulsively start calling him sir, and I think South Carolina is going to respond to this. They're going to be sirred by Charlotte. Not only is Charlotte not going to lose by 22.5 points, Charlotte's going to keep it within 7 points.
Oh, wow.
He does look like he would be related to Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's true.
He really does. That is.
I'm sorry, but Becky's thing, we have our own little version of Leonard's Losers. Y'all remember Leonard's Losers?
Yeah.
That is what's going on. This is fantastic.
It is. It's good stuff.
I love this.
Yes.
Becky, don't ever change. All right.
No.
South Carolina coming off let's just say it, ass kicking. Spencer Rattler looked, if he looked average, that would have been an improvement. He looked dreadful. But this is going to be one of those games where you look at it and say, okay, this is why everyone thinks Rattler's actually good.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be one of those deceiving type games. I think Rattler's going to have a big game. I think, this offense, they flashed a few things that could make you say, okay, they have some potential there. Jaheim Bell being one of those weapons as one of the receiving options there. But they do an okay at running the ball. And, of course, they're coached by a Beamer, so special teams is going to be on point. Give me the Gamecocks this week. Steve.
Yeah, I like South Carolina as well. Although Spencer Rattler this season, when you think of Rattler, you think of a rattlesnake, but it's more of a goo goo gaga type rattle that he is throwing out this season. But I think South Carolina will do enough to cover this line. See, I'm trying to catch up with Becky, and it may not land, but whatever. There's only so much we can do.
Yeah, she is ruling this pick segment. All right, Jeb.
No, I actually agree with what you were saying, Corey. It was kind of the same thinking I had was this next couple of weeks, actually. I think Spencer Rattler's going to come out looking good, and they're going to start feeling good about him before he runs into the SEC, and it just all goes downhill for him again.
Before he runs into that Missouri defense.
Yeah, I think I got A&M first, but then, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jake?
Yeah, two positive for South Carolina this week. Spencer Rattler's not going against an SEC defense, so he's going to look really good, like you mentioned. And the other thing is there's going to be more than 3 people come Sandstorm time for him, unlike last week when there's only three flag, little towels in the air. So, yeah,
they all followed they all followed the after the Title IX ceremony. That was the only reason they were there.
Right? Yeah.
They're honoring all the women's sports.
Once
they left, the students were like, "Yeah, we're good."
Yeah, I think South Carolina covers.
All right. Well, we got 2 more games, and we might do a bonus selection here. Vanderbilt rolls into Tuscaloosa. They're 3-1. Jeb was holding up signs. We want Bama. We want Bama. We want Bama. All right. Well, you're about to get every bit of Bama that you want. Bama comes in. They host Vandy. 40.5-point favorites. Becky, what you got?
Okay, no. Clark Lee is going to pop Papa Saban right in the mouth. Now, don't get me wrong. He's going to get whooped for being so sassy with him. But he's going to get his shot in.
Sassy, huh? Okay.
Yeah, oh, yes. He's a sassy frass. Vanderbilt's going to cover.
Sassy
My name is Clark Lee, and I'm sassy.
My name is Clark Lee. I am. He's a short
Max
circle out there.
Headroom. He did Max Headroom.
He's got a short circuit out there. All right, so they got road stomped, road graded, whatever it was. Wake Forest came in and just completely pulled their pants down, gave them a wedgie, and gave them a swirly all at the same time. And I think that's what's going to happen in Tuscaloosa. I think just the talent discrepancy. I mean, Vandy's going to play hard. They're going to do what they need to do to show that they're improving as a program. But I just don't think it's going to be enough to cover the spread. I think Bama, Nick Saban, and this offense they need something to get them going. And I think this is the game. Steve.
I think Alabama's going to win this and cover this, and Vandy deserves all the credit in the world for getting to 3-1, no doubt. They deserve all that credlet.
Just rank them for 1 week.
Yeah, this game, they're going to take their L, and they're going to try and find the games against Missouri and next year they play Auburn, so maybe they can get that one as well. South Carolina. Those are the games that they're going to have to make their bank on. 3-1, they got to win 3 SEC games to get bowl eligible. That's not going to happen this year, but this has been a successful season already for Clark Lee. But Bama's going to roll. It might be 56-7.
Yeah, they already hit the over. Jeb.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Clark Lee has done a good job this season so far. He's going to be fine, but. The only thing that worries me about this game is the spread, just because that's a big spread for SEC game. But I don't think Alabama's gonna have as much trouble hitting as you would think. So I'm picking them to cover.
Jake.
All right. So question and answer time, guys. All right. So question.
True.
All right. Hang on. Pre-2020 season, and before all these excellent running back or quarterbacks that come in, what did Alabama hinge on their offense? Running the ball.
Big
exactly.
Run the damn ball.
Right.
Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, T.J. Yeldon.
Mm-hmm. What has Alabama have yet to do this year?
Run the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Run ball.
It's true.
I'm still a big believer in you have to establish a run game to open up the offense. Since Alabama has not done that yet, I think they're going to take more of an approach of that, try to get the offensive line going a little bit better, get more continuity between them, get our running backs going. I think I really think Vandy can cover this. I think it's going to be like a 48-10 game just because Alabama is going to focus more on running the ball this week.
Okay.
Oh, fair enough.
I like that. And joyless murder ball. That was Alabama football for a decade, and it's right now it's
not
dead.
It's not there. Yeah.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is not that dude.
No, but
Not
Jason
that guy,
McClellan
pal.
and Roydell Williams. Roydell Williams had 12 guys on him last week and got out of it, made a touchdown. I don't know how he did it, but I mean, he could be that guy. Well, yeah, but we've got to get the running game established, and we have yet to do it. So I think
Louisiana Monroe, who's a banana peel away from being Hillwood.
Oh,
yeah.
By the way, before we get to the next game, next week, Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
Oh wow!
Oh.
Back, season 2. Quack.
Oh man!
Quack.
Oh,
Quack.
man, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I need to get on House of the Dragons too.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to wait and just bench the whole season. Is it good, Joe?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
At this point, Steve, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I
right,
saw Top
John.
Gun Maverick. It was good, by the way.
Oh, okay, there you go. I need to watch that one too. All right, John. Here you go. Last and certain. Well, we got one more bonus pick. Let's be honest. All right, New Mexico rolls into Baton Rouge, 31.5-point favorites. I know I said Mississippi State collapsed in the second half. Mississippi State should have been up 28-0 in that game
Yeah.
based on the first half. They had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity where LSU couldn't get going. LSU woke up on a special teams play, and absolutely, and all the credit to LSU and Brian Kelly, they absolutely dominated the second half and completely earned that victory. And Mississippi State did help them along the way, but that's football. That's going to happen. So credit to LSU for taking advantage of it, because LSU did the same for Mississippi State in the first half, and Mississippi State did not take advantage of it. So,
John's really nervous right now.
yes.
Yeah.
Becky.
I'm sure.
Okay, you are right. LSU did look much, much better. But when you look at Danny Gonzalez, who's the head coach of the University of New Mexico, right? Tell me you can't picture this man meeting you 5 minutes before the auto shop opens so that he can be beside you and make sure that they're not going to be taking advantage of you. He just has that look. He is a protector. He is not going to allow LSU to embarrass New Mexico. Not going to happen. New Mexico's going to cover. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, I think LSU's going to cover. This is a get well game for the Bayou Bengals.
Yeah.
I'm taking LSU.
Yeah, it's the Lobos versus the Tigers, the Dogs versus the Cats. I normally always go for the Dogs in this situation because I'm not a cat person, but in this case, I'm taking LSU because
Dogs who
Mexico.
love cats and twins. What's up, Jed?
and twins. Yeah, I don't know. New Mexico.
What is going on?
I know.
A commercial before you were old enough to hear it.
Okay.
Before you're old enough, definitely old enough to drink.
They did a scary movie too. It was pretty fun. Anyway,
It's Steve's favorite beer.
Yeah.
Coors Light.
Did you hear about the Coors Light truck wrecking and threw Coors Light all over the interstate? They had to shut it down because it was covered with Coors Light cans down here in Florida. Yeah.
Steve just lifted the table 6 inches. All right. Go ahead, Jeb.
No, actually, I kind of like New Mexico. They're kind of a scrappy little team. They play well. They score some points. Their defense isn't great, but they've been really good at taking the ball away. I think they do just enough to stay within this range here, maybe losing by about 23, 24 points. They're still going to lose, but I like the way they're playing. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say New Mexico covers this week. And to answer the question, John, yes, LSU is the next game. Or Tennessee's the next game for LSU.
Yeah.
I thought it was Auburn.
Jake.
Sandwich game.
Yeah. All right.
It's a
Probably the only one on this panel that actually watched the Lobos play Boise State a few weeks ago, and
Really?
I watched pretty much that entire
Why?
game
That wasn't a
Why?
great
because it was like I couldn't sleep, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. They were still on, so I just watched it. So Boise State, I mean, they're an okay team. They're pretty much average, above average team, but the Lobos could not move the ball against them. And I think LSU is a lot better than Boise State. I think they cover easily.
Jake, are you going to get a Bleav in Lobos podcast going here?
No. I watched that game. I mean, I watched the entirety
It
of
should
it.
be
I
like
could not
like
sleep.
Locked On Lobos. That's what he needs
Yeah.
to be. He needs to be the Locked On Lobos show.
Oh.
You
Hey,
going to
Jake,
duel again, Steve?
Yeah.
Jake, you're right. It is Auburn. This is the next team for LSU. Tennessee
Okay.
will bye next week. So
Yeah.
LSU's the next team for Tennessee to play.
Hey, I know my teams. I
Yeah.
know when Auburn plays, but I'm just kidding. Auburn's my team, man.
Yeah, well, I knew Tennessee's
Whoa,
schedule, but I forgot
baby.
about that bye week. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
and
just-
full disclosure, we're doing the picks and everything. Ole Miss needs Texas A&M to win this game because if they win this game, they're probably going to have game day next week. By the way,
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. So there's the motivation right there. Steve's just willing it to happen. All right.
speaking
last
into
pick.
existence.
Our last pick is honorary SEC members, members of the Fun Belt Conference. This game, as we record live on a Wednesday night, this game happens tomorrow
Ooh,
in former Turner Field. Georgia State, 2-point underdogs as they host Coastal. Becky, can Coastal pull it off?
No. Sean Elliott is going to come back, and he's going to try to save a little bit of face here. And I'm just giving it to Georgia State.
Okay.
All right.
I'm taking Coastal. I'm a big believer in Grayson McCall as a quarterback, and I'm on the train. So I'm taking Coastal here. I picked them to win the Fun Belt, and so I've really kind of got to stick with it. So there you go.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. The only place that Chanticleer is mentioned is in the Canterbury Tales. And they took their nickname from the Canterbury Tales. Go with Coastal Carolina.
Well, I have
Canterbury Tales reference. Check.
no idea. I haven't really paid as much attention to the Sun Belt as y'all have apparently, but I should have because I do see that.
Well, they're beating everybody, dude.
Yeah, they're having so much fun down there.
They're better than the ACC. They're winning over the ACC
And the
They're beating
SEC.
ACC team. Old Dominion, App State, Coastal,
Which has
Georgia
been
State
the most
making
exciting
some
team.
noise. Yeah,
Although Coastal is pretty close to being
Georgia
most
Southern-
exciting team, so.
Georgia Southern ending Scott Frost's tenure at Nebraska.
Yeah, but in their
Shall I
probably
keep going?
worked hard for it.
Brick by brick.
Yeah. A frost is closely related to a freeze, just saying.
Ah,
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
Nice. I'm gonna take Coastal Carolina in that game.
All right.
yeah. I don't know anything about either one of these teams. I do know, if I remember correctly, either COVID year or last year, Coastal Carolina was like top 15 ranked. So I think they are a
Coastal
very
Carolina
good
was
program.
vying for
So,
a playoff spot.
yeah.
They had
So
this epic battle with BYU, and they were like elbowing chairs, and
yeah.
it's a wild program, dude.
I'm taking Coastal Carolina.
I like watching Coastal Carolina because they're one of the few teams out there that when I watch them play, I learn football. You see something kind of new, and it's done a little bit differently, and that is what I enjoy about Coastal.
So
know
Jamie
ball?
Chadwell has taken. You watch ball, you old ball
Yeah,
coach. So Jamie
ball
Chadwell has taken the triple option, both versions, like the Paul Johnson and the Wofford versions. They have molded it into a spread offense, and they
Wow.
do some 30 personnel stuff, where they have like 3 guys stacked in the backfield in gun. It's some wild stuff what they do with like midline option, veer option, and some of the stuff that they do and inside zone and veer. And Jeb just turned into the Riddler again. Jeb, that's actually our cue. That's
Yeah.
actually our cue. Jeb's internet just quit. So we
Jeb's
salute
already going
you
to bed.
like Captain Commodore here that Jeb put up. So we are SEC After Dark. If you joined in the chat, we thank you, John, Cassidy, and Michael, and all the other
Yes.
people that joined in. I saw some new names that I never saw before.
The Jebbler.
The Jebbler.
The Jebbler.
That's great.
I don't know what's
That's
going on
good.
with my connection.
That's great.
But I do love that you're so on top of it. Thank you, Steve.
Steve is on his game tonight.
I wish I could have been this on top of it with Corey. If we'd have done that, he'd have been buzzed like at least 2 shows by now.
I know.
I know,
Yeah.
like 2 full shows. So anyway, we are SEC After Dark. We hope you enjoyed this show. We hope if you decide to put money on the games that we pick, we hope that you win copious amounts of dollars. I'll give you my Venmo so you can give me my cut. But for Steven, Willis, Jeb Beecham, and Jake Thomas, I'm Corey Burton. Our executive producer, Becky Willis, the voice of God.
Voice of
We
God.
thank you for watching. And check us out. We are SEC After Dark on the Bleav Network, on y'all's conference network, presented by Bet Online. We'll see you back here next week. Go Dogs.
All right. Take care, people in chat. Hotty toddy.
Good night, Dolly.
Goodbye, chat. Goodbye, Jebbler.
Jolene. That's
says
just
that?
for you,
Ain't seen
Jeb.
nothing yet.
That's just for you, Jeb.
Thank you. The greatest celebrity Rocky Top ever produced.